I don't know what I have.
We just kind of banter and
zero recollection of anything. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between.
Hi.
Welcome to a series that This may be the first episode or the second episode. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, depending at the same time.
Depending on when they go up, this may be the first episode or the second episode. But the other one is going to say that it is the first episode.
So no matter what, both of them are wrong.
Pretty much. This is the second.
Like us.
We'll just say this is the second one we recorded.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so this is a series we like to call "What's Your Disney Movie?"
Which is, in case this is the first one, an idea that we had initially whenever we wanted to do the YouTube video, like start YouTube, to where we explain, like kind of think like, what's the Disney movie that kind of made us into who we are?
Yeah.
Because like you have your favorite one, but then you have one that's like you look at that movie and then you look at who you are like when like as you have grown up or like as you are today, and you're like, that explains so much of me.
Yeah.
Like of who I am.
So when we recorded last time, we talked about mine, which was Tarzan.
Yes. And his love of drums and music.
My love of drums and music and hatred of racism.
Yeah.
All the things in between.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about this dumbasses Disney movie.
Which you said it might be like a couple of them.
But try to pick one.
Yeah, well, I think I've already kind of known which one. It's like, well, while I'll say my favorite Disney movie is definitely Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And that kind of explains me a lot, but I think the one that really shows like who I am is actually, if you've never heard of it, I wouldn't be surprised, The Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
Which came out at Disney's lowest point. And
a little bit.
like after that, the Disney Renaissance happened.
Yeah.
Like I think a year later, The Little Mermaid happened.
Yeah.
And Disney was back on top. But
so
the Black.
I know very little about the Black Cauldron, so please enlighten us.
So the Black Cauldron is Disney's take at basically making almost like a D&D adventure with like kids type of fantasy movie that we used to have a lot back in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Kind of with those animated Hobbit movie and
the
animated Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, it looks a lot like those even as well.
Okay.
Like even though it was like in the 80s
and in the darkness, bind.
Like even though it was in like the late 80s or early 90s, it looked like it came out the same year that Ralph Bakshi made The Lord of the Rings.
There's a whip.
No, that's Return of the King by somebody else.
It's fine.
It's
all the same. I'm fantasy racist.
Yeah, bastard. And so like when I look at this movie, it is like literally it's basically like the type of thing that you would come up with as your first homebrew of D&D game. Mm-hmm. Like I got these D&D books, and I know a little bit of fantasy, so I'm gonna write my own story and just come up with my own thing. Yeah. And that's kind of what it feels like.
And I've seen a little bit of the Black Cauldron, like kind of just watching it a little.
Yeah, we watched it over at my house in the background.
We watched it over at your house in the background, and I remember my parents used to go to this gym, and there was like a daycare in the gym for like your kids and shit. So me and my brother would end up in there a lot, and they had like movies for you to watch and stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of the movies that we would put on sometimes is The Black Cauldron. Mm-hmm. And I just remember kind of seeing little glimpses of it, and it's a very pretty movie.
Yeah, for like how old the animation looks.
It's got a weird art style, but it's very masterfully animated.
Yeah.
And kind of scary in spots. Like, there's some kind of horrifying monsters in there.
Yeah, and, like, imagery in it. Because, like, it centers about, like, a young teenage farm boy who, lives with this, like, old wizard dude, kind of.
Sounds familiar.
Maybe?
Sword in the Stone.
Oh, not quite.
Not quite, but
no, but
little familiar.
He's not really like a full mage. He knows of magic, but he doesn't do it.
I
He's
love
very
Sword in the
scholarly
Stone, too.
Instead of magey. But he's got a magic pig that can see the future.
Great.
Which stick with us. It gets weirder. And so like they're using the pig doesn't know it's magic. He just kind of looks into a pot of water, and the pig will kind of hypnotize itself, dunk its head into the water while it's drinking it, and then images will appear in the water, and so they can see the future and like things that are happening. So they learn about this like black cauldron, which can bring back armies from the dead.
They learn about the title character, the Black Cauldron.
And so like, and they learn about that there's this evil villain called the Horned King, which I've seen this movie so many times as a kid that I don't really remember it a lot. But the Horned King is always the thing that immediately pops into my head when I say the Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
And you'll know why when you see it, because he's a lich, basically, from fantasy and D&D and whatnot.
From fantasy.
Yeah, he's a lich. He's an undead dude, and he's got these horns for reasons. But like the way that he's animated and the music that they give him is just haunting.
Yeah.
Like, because the music that they do sounds like a little bit, it sounds like the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
At times, where they got like the weird synthesizers going way high up and low. But like when he speaks, there's always an echo. Like his voice is coming from the depths.
Yeah.
And he's got like a little goblin minion. That's fine. But like the pig runs off and they go on an adventure, find the pig, find a princess, and decide that they're going to save the world.
Right. So,
and shenanigans ensue, and they eventually find a bard, which I forgot about the bard. And as I look at it today, I'm like, that's why I love bards so much.
Yeah. So get into why you what you think this really shaped about you as a human.
So, like, growing up, fantasy wasn't really that big of a thing for me. Like, it was mostly Star Wars, as you can see on my shirt. Like, Star Wars was kind of the only thing for me for a while, and dinosaurs, and, like, very few other things. Mm-hmm. But fantasy was kind of there because of this movie.
Yeah.
But, like, as I grew up, and as I, like, watched Lord of the Rings for the first time, and started playing D&D, I looked at this movie and see basically that this is what I do all the time, just in like somebody else's head.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it explains so much why I was so drawn to D&D and why I eventually like came around to fantasy and like, yeah, I really liked this.
So you think it really shaped more your taste in pop culture and kind of entertainment?
Yeah.
More so than like who you are as a human.
Well, I mean, that kind of is also who I am.
Well, yeah.
Because like I am that fantasy nerd.
Yeah.
that has like went to forensics tournaments and is like, hey, you guys want to play Dungeons and Dragons? I'm like, what's that? Let me tell you. And like,
there's a lot of I heard of that.
Yeah,
that shit's for nerds.
Yeah,
sign me up.
But like, and so for like a lot of people during their senior recitals in that class was like, I know about all these like different nerdy things because of Drew.
Yeah.
Like I know what D&D is, and now I know these other things because of this. It's, I don't know, like like as I grew up, I just kind of adopted that. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Just I'm not allowed to do sports. The coaches are afraid for me to do sports.
You're still waiting on golf lessons freshman year.
So like I just kind of adopted that. Yeah, I'm that D&D nerd.
Yeah.
If you got questions, come to me. I'll more than likely have answers, or I'll just kind of bullshit it.
D&D is kind of one of those things that, like, depending on who you're playing with, you can bullshit your way through the entire thing.
Yeah, like Brady, who is constantly brought up once D&D because he literally is that nerd. Because he grew up during the witch hunt.
Yeah, I remember talking to him at Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way he talked about the witch hunt days.
Yeah.
Was a very interesting story.
Yeah, like he had to hide his books. He learned math through D&D. Like,
that's cool.
Like a major selling point for him is like whenever I was in school, like I learned math better and I could read better and write better because of D&D and all that.
Yeah.
So if you haven't played D&D, go and play it. It'll make you better.
Because there's a lot of words.
Yeah.
And numbers.
Yeah.
So
based on the edition, there's more.
Yeah.
Second edition, Fatco. Oh! But like I don't know, like, because, and it's also got like, it doesn't have a lot of magic in this.
Yeah.
But when it does happen, it's very, like, bright, colorful, and, like, it's magic. Because, like, the magic pig in the beginning is like, yay! It's silly, it's Disney.
Yeah.
But then you get to, like, the Horned King and the Black Cauldron summoning the dead.
I feel like because the Black Cauldron is such a little-known Disney film, that's part of why you were kind of that D&D nerd who never felt the need to conform.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like because the movie that you were kind of raised on was A, movie that nobody on God's green earth had heard of, but B, this, like, homebrew D&D campaign in a Disney movie.
Because it was also about that time for that.
Yeah.
For, like, D&D to be in its hot spot.
Yeah, I feel like
before the witch hunt.
That might be part of why you were so anti-conformist. Like you were not necessarily anti-conformist. You just never really felt the need to.
Yeah,
because everything you liked was kind of just over here,
and
you kind of just had your needs met over here.
That is also kind of like with my kind of political look at things as well.
Yeah,
because like. My belief on like confronting different people's theology is like you do what you do. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong.
Yeah.
What people have done in that name may be wrong, but the beliefs are good.
Yeah.
Like I've sat there and thought like Christians like. People that are Christians haven't done a lot of good things, but the morals are really good.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. But that can be said with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So I'm very like, believe in what you believe, just don't be a dick about it.
Yeah.
And same with like, even political things that are going on now, because I'm not a big fan of mudslinging when it comes to the political stuff, because I think it's a hot load of garbage.
Yeah.
And it does nothing for anybody.
Yeah.
Because, like if you don't have any plans for the future and you're just kind of pushing everybody else off of the hill so that you can be king of the hill,
yeah,
that's not how you do it.
No.
That's why we have votes.
Yeah.
Because the way that was solved before was with war.
Yeah.
And that's what it was called.
Yeah.
That's why we have people vote on different people's views, and then the people choose who they want to represent them with their views.
Yeah.
But that's not how it actually works. It's still war.
Yeah.
It's still kind of push the other guys off until there's only two of them. Then we have a vote based on who pushed better.
Yeah.
Which, that's neither here nor there. I'm trying, like, if I were to run the country, I would actually have, like, arbiters.
Yeah.
Like, kind of people that are away from the political system, look at both sides and then decide.
You will die, just as every arbiter has before.
But, like, a very arbitrary system instead of being part of it and having to choose.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of me, and that might be because of, like, my things are over here instead of being with everybody.
That's interesting. Like, before, like, when we talked about how Tarzan shaped me, we were, like, discussing how the content of the film really shaped who I am as a person. And the content of the film shaped what you were into. But, like...
Well, it is also kind of what I am.
Kind of the nature...
I'm that D&D World of Warcraft filth.
Yeah, but also the nature of what the film was, like, kind of a little-known fantasy film that nobody really had heard of.
Yeah.
Made you less keen to conform because your needs were met outside of the massive nonsense.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, and that's kind of what these videos are about. Like, how does that work exactly?
Yeah.
And so we're kind of discovering that as we go. But
I just about done it for this one.
Have we?
I mean,
there's always more. Like, I think also voices kind of come from this one.
Yeah.
Because before Gollum was a thing for me,
yeah,
I had Gertie, which was literally the Gollum voice.
Yeah.
Just without that.
Yeah.
He's just this voice. And I did this all the time. Don't you don't want to go back?
And so, like, I just started doing voices, and then I got into forensics and did more voices.
Yeah. Had a weed
So-
to Hackus.
Yeah. Oh, there's a callback
Yeah.
that none of you know. That's fine. But it's interesting how these different movies do different things.
Yeah.
And like I was talking about the magic earlier, like when the Horned King like dies, it's horrific because he's like sucked into the black cauldron and his skin is like ripped off.
It's like when the Barons of Hell die in the original Doom, just...
Yeah. Oh no, like he's sucked in it and he's like fighting it and he... Like his flesh is ripped apart, then it's just his skeleton. Like, I think that's why I'm not a big fan of horror, because that was terrifying.
You had a lot of traumatic things happen to you early on, like with the watching your dad play Doom and
Far
stuff.
Cry 1.
And that, like, I feel like you were just traumatized as a child.
That's why I'm so like away from the stuff. I mean, I've had my due, and like that's why I'm not like into the horror stuff. And when things that most people would just kind of be like, ugh, I like jump more at it. Like when I saw Daredevil,
Yeah.
and there's a part to where a guy breaks a dude's hand and like the bone pops out in the bloody wound. Like I went, no, God, no. And most people are like, eh. I don't know. That could constitute to that
maybe.
because the Horned King is literally the most terrifying thing ever. And then that happened.
Yeah.
But it's a great movie. It's very corny, like 80s D&D corn.
Corn.
Not cheese. That could be cheesy corn.
Yeah.
It could definitely be cheesy corn. But if
I
you
think it's
find
probably
it,
corn.
it's a pretty good movie. It'll entertain you for a bit, and it's got like a cult following in other places.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not my favorite one, but I think it's the one that kind of defines who I have become.
Yeah.
Like arguably Hunchback in other ways, but we might do that in a different video because there's plenty of different ways in that.
Yeah.
I've kind of lived Quasimodo. But I think that'll about do it for this one.
All right. So yeah, thanks again.
Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you've seen The Black Cauldron, let us know what you think about it in the comments below. If you liked this video and if you like this video series, let us also know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like...
Whether you like it or not, the other one will be going up too.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and do all that fun social media stuff.
We need that.
Come check us out over here on youtube.com at TrebleChin Entertainment, and for more videos.
Yeah.
Take it easy, guys.
Goodbye.